So y'all gonna sit here and tell me y'all still can't find hits on these grids. Well, maybe you can. I'm gonna show you a little trick that may be hiding some real numbers. I'm gonna show you how to flip numbers, show you how to use that so you can see how hits are definitely right in front of us, but sometimes we have to tweak a few things, okay? So watch this. We're gonna go with North Carolina, October 18th evening. You guys have to learn to backtrack. I know you guys like using just your last draw for your state. I've been preaching this for years, and people are slowly but surely are trying to catch on to it, but not fast enough because they're missing hits, and we don't want that, right? All right, so we're gonna go just using a 1, 2, 3 rundown. Feel free to back test other rundowns in your state if you have favorites, okay? I'm not gonna debate on which one is great. You'll know which rundown is wonderful for you when you can see the most hits out of them, okay? In a 3 to 5 day period. That's how you know what rundown to use. But for right now, we're just gonna use the 1, 2, 3. You guys had a hit of 530 October 18th evening. So what I want to do for you really quickly, just in case we have some newbies, I'm going to count out the grid really quick, just the first column, so you know exactly how to put the rundown together. All right. So we have here, we're going to add 1 all the way down. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. For your 2-digit numbers, only use your ones, place your 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. And 4 plus 1 is 5. So the number you start with should be the number that you end with. All right, so the next thing that I want you to do is make sure that you have everything lined up. Add in your 2 column and your 3 all the way down your 3rd column, okay? So once you have all that figured, I want you to pay attention to the next big thing. If you guys have been keeping up with my channel, I've been talking about key digit numbers, okay? 2s and 7s, all right? Whenever you see 2s and 7s, sometimes that area could be really hot. Some numbers are going straight across, meaning numbers could be hot underneath or the bottom. Sometimes they're going diagonal. Sometimes they have their own little something. You won't know until you start backtracking your state. So if I was looking at this grid, 530 for North Carolina, I would have assumed that 653 could have been something I should look at. 899, 158, or 394, okay? And the reason I'm using key digits like this, you ever heard of like 0s being lucky, 7s being lucky? I learned when I studied a lot of the states, the number 7s and 2s together could be really hot. And that's just simply telling me that there's some hot numbers around here. Now, because I have that background knowledge, I would have assumed if I was in North Carolina to look out for 653, 899, 158, or 394. Now, if I would have went to the store and held on to these for a couple days, I'm not saying hits won't still come from here, but it didn't. It actually, something else happened. And when I went back, I saw that there was a 704 that hit. I said, well, hold the phone. I don't see no 704. I mean, you could probably get it some kind of way. You wrap it around and do all that stuff. But for me, I need to see things either going straight across or straight diagonal so all 3 numbers connect. That's why I have the workouts that I have. I'm just tired of being one off. If you guys are tired of being one off, let me know in the comments. So hold on, North Carolina, what you pulling? 704. So, well, I didn't see that here. And so I backtrack a few other days. And sometimes you may not see that previous hit going straight across, right? So I said, just like I did for Florida, and I have a video on that. Make sure you guys check that out. I'll put the link in the description. But I decided to go ahead and start flipping the numbers. What does that mean? I decided to take this 530 and flip it and turn it to an 863. Not mirroring, there's a difference. When we mirror a number, we're using its opposite, okay? You've heard that before. 0 could be a 5 or 5 could be a 0. Just like we have these 7s, we have a 2, 7, 2 and 7. They could be the same, and here are the rest of the other mirrors. So you heard of mirror numbers before, but flip numbers are a little different. Flip numbers are when we add 3 to each number, okay? And you see here, here's your chart. So if there's a 0, you would use a 3. If there's a 1, you would turn it into a 4. If it's a 2, you would turn it into a 5, and so on, okay? So I decided to take the same number, since they're being tricky. I said, well, let me flip them numbers, okay, and see if I can find out where that hit was located, okay? You know I did. So here we go. So the 5 would be a what? 8. The 3 would be a 6. And the 0 would be a 3. So we turned this 530 into an 863. Okay. When I look straight across, watch this. What do we see here? We see 740. Look at this. 740. Sitting right here. Sitting right there. 740. Sitting right there. Sitting right across. So this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. We have to pay attention. All right, never mind. Hold on. I was wrong. It didn't come out 704. It came exact 740. I had to check myself. North Carolina. I'm sorry about that. But anyways, it came out 740. Now, remember we were talking about those key digits where we can most likely find some hot hits coming straight across? It did the same thing, but we had to flip. Those would have been good, right? So now if you start seeing 2s and 7s and you flip them and you see 2s and 7s, pay attention, okay? So look at the numbers on top. 009. 245 on the bottom. You see that? That could have been hot. Let's look at your 627. You got 504 and you got 740. And I had 704 from the beginning. Sorry about that. But the 740 and it hit exact. So what am I trying to tell y'all? They're getting trickier. This is not a new thing. People have been flipping numbers forever. I just didn't like it. But you know what? It's worth it to take that extra step, especially if your state is showing hits like this. Why leave that money on the table if you don't really have to? Now, I got to tell y'all, I'm not going to guarantee this is going to happen every day. I'm not going to guarantee a win or a hit. So you guys have to study. Try using other rundowns. See what's working for your state, okay? But yeah, definitely pay attention. Now, these numbers, I don't know, they could still be hot. Make sure you pay attention to them. But when we flipped it, we saw a difference, didn't we? All right, North Carolina. Talk to y'all later.